Hey guys, Joe here, and thanks for checking out the next video in the Fallout 4 Modern Massachusetts Settlement series. And this video is going to be on Finch Farms. If you're new to the channel and you've never seen these videos, why don't you give it a thumbs up, maybe consider subscribing so you can see more just like it. If you click up on the card there is a playlist available that shows the previous settlement builds I've done. My goal is to create a Fallout 4 universe where as many settlements as possible have been repaired, starting with this one. Not really, this is like the 9th. This is an overview of Finch Farm as it appears in the vanilla game. It's raining in the scene. I thought it looked more dreary and I didn't feel like console cheating. But as you can see during this Flyaround, it's just an overpass with broken ends, cars on the ground, a lot of water, and not a whole heck of a lot else. It's got some dead trees, broken cars, and as you can see, only one building being utilized, plus a campfire for when the trade caravans come through. I saw this as a great opportunity to use a lot of the land, clean it up, and make an awesome settlement that the inhabitants would enjoy. Let's go ahead and use console commands now. We'll jump up into the sky, and we're going to take a little bit of a fly around the settlement. I do apologize if the frame rate gets a little tanked. I am running a 1080 Ti and a 6-core Xeon processor with 20 gigs of RAM, but all these mods tend to play havoc with my frame rates when they're all working at the same time. First thing you'll notice is that there's a lot of wood, glass, stone, and landscaping rocks. I did that on purpose. I wanted to see how the mix looked when you put it together. I think it came out pretty well. As you can see, as we come around the front, I kind of made this the visibility area. It looks out over the bay, so you can see all the different cityscapes as you look around. The other thing you'll notice as we're doing this fly around is that I got rid of the broken sections of the overpass, the ones that go down to the ground. I did that because it makes it look a little bit cleaner, and I was able to do it, so might as well. Coming down a little bit closer, you can see how there's a lot of glass, a lot of viewing angles, and up top is my favorite part, but we'll be getting to that in a minute. On the sides and all the way around the back here, I used DFEP, by the way, all the mods are in the descriptions below, to create this wall that goes all the way around this back side of the settlement to kind of give it a natural-ish look. I thought it came out pretty well. As you can kind of see looking into the settlement, there are a lot of different buildings. Here is the archway, that is the entranceway. There are two ways into the settlement. This is the first one, and as you can see, it has turrets and security guard stations. Let's run over to the other side here. Don't look at the sides. Sorry, I probably should have cut this and jumped over there, but I wasn't really thinking about it when I did it. Maybe next time I'll do that. But coming around the side here, it's slightly different because this is the entrance I built first. And as you can see, I kind of put the turret separate from the guard station and kind of built a little bit of a landscaping rock pillar between the two. I think it came out pretty good though. Just like the other side, it does have security guard stations, although 2 instead of 1. And all my security personnel, of course, wear military fatigues and the dragon skin holsters, vests, and upgraded weapons. Gotta protect that settlement. First building on the left here is my security station. All the buildings tend to be separate in this settlement. I like it that way. I think it works out well. Coming inside, you can see that it does have a guard desk that is manned, and it's very well lit. I wanted to make sure that all the buildings had good lighting. Have a couple of couches here in the main sitting area, just for relaxation purposes. Here in the prisoner area, 2 cells and another desk, although I don't have anybody assigned to that desk yet. I do need to do that. This fuse box only controls this door. It does that on purpose, that way when the power is turned off to just that box, you can't get in or out. On the walls, I do have the filled displays, and these aren't functional, you can't put anything in them, but it does make the place look full and like an armory. Gave them a weapons workbench and a modern firearms prototype vending machine. As you can see, as I said, I like a lot of light, but I also put in a glass ceiling. This is the armor dealer using do-it-yourself, the mod, not you don't have to do it yourself, but you know what I mean. I went ahead and filled the shelves up with different stuff. I wanted to make it look like there was a good variety, and I also gave him an armor workbench and an armor smith workbench. This being night, everybody's at the bar or just relaxing right now. Speaking of which, here's the main bar. It's just a platform with some posts and roofs and a standing bar. I thought it fit in better than the giant restaurant one, and it seems to work pretty well. These tables are really convenient because they're small enough that you can put a bunch of them down with 4 chairs and still have room for people to walk around, so 16 people. The garden area is in the exact same spot. All I did was replace the worn out fence with concrete fencing, and the main thing I did was I replaced the food that was already there with DFEP planters. These provide 3 food each, opposed to the half of a food each. And again, a lot of lighting, although these can be turned off so it looks more like a radiant lighting situation if I desire, but I like to have as much light as possible for some reason. And the 2 entrances into the garden prevent random Brahmin and people from walking into it. Looking here, you can see this is the overpass section that I kept, but it's heavily modified. I did that on purpose, and I think it came out really well. We'll be taking a look at how I did this underside in a little bit, and I think you'll agree it came out pretty well. Glass from floor to ceiling, however, the buildings are only 2 levels each. Again, I did that on purpose. I didn't want to fill it up because then it would look like all the other settlements, and I wanted to do something just a little bit different. Now let's take a look at the main household. This is the Finch farmhouse. These are the Finches. I gave them their own house, and they're sharing it collectively. In here, we have a fully functioning bathroom, thanks to CWSS. You have a sink, shower, and some creative clutter add-ons. You know what I mean. But they make the place look even more full. The kitchen here is pretty basic. I used the Modular kitchen and laid down all of that, along with some stoves and tables with food actually on them. You can't jump up there and knock them over because of the creative clutter, which is perfect. Out here, this is the backside. I kind of did this on purpose. I wanted them to have their own waterfront relaxation room. That door always stays locked. I figured they have a key so they can get in and out, but raiders and other people can't. I thought this came out really well. You got a pool table with the liquor cabinet on the wall and a nice seating area with some games, a board game and some Nuka Quantum, and a bunch of other stuff to just come out here and relax when you're done with your hard day of farming. Up here, I put all the Finches in one big room, and I think that works out fine. I probably have too many lights in here, but I wanted to keep it nice and bright. This is the second bar area, although it was the first bar I built. I didn't build that one until much later. I kind of put it in the space between all the living quarters, and then I wound up building that one because I needed more room because I had more settlers. I figure it works out really well that way too, because it does split up the count pretty evenly, I'm finding nowadays. Again, using do-it-yourself, I filled up the counter, and I do have a fuse box dedicated to just the lights for the bar, so again, they can be turned off, and you can just have these little lamps in the middle. I used placed everywhere to shrink them down, and with the mod currently not working right, I'm waiting for that to get fixed so I can continue building my settlements my way. Coming over here, we have some residence apartments. Again, fully functioning bathrooms as well as fully decorated. This is the most decorated settlement I've done so far, and I'll continue to do that in the future. This is pre-decorated, so I didn't have to do anything to it. I just need more variety, I think. Posters on the wall. These are in the Creative Clutter mod download, and as you can see, they're kind of funny and they look good. She's nav meshed weird. Sometimes she'll go to work, and then sometimes she just stands there in the door. I don't really know what to do about her. But coming up around here, oh look, radiation storm. That's going to be a little awkward for the video. Let me fix that. Ding! Up here are 2 apartments I haven't decorated yet, mainly because I got lazy, and plus since I have more beds than settlers, I thought I'd leave them as available condos. Under the main living area, I did put a general store, do-it-yourself to the rescue again, lots of places to put items and lots of shelving. Really fills it up and makes it look like a real store. On this side, you have a weapons dealer, fully stocked, ready to use, and another weapons workbench and firearms dispensary. Clothing stall. This was kind of a last minute addition, but I think it works well to fit in the space. There was originally nothing there. Very basic. Here, let's actually go over and take a look at this. This is the workshop and chemistry station and a bubbler's station. And that is not lined up for some reason. That door we'll take a look at in a second. And then coming up here, you have another living quarters. You will see it's only 2 squares long though, so I'd had to be a little bit more creative. This is the gamer's version of the pre-decorated desk. I think that looks pretty cool in here. And instead of a door, I wound up using a shower curtain as kind of a separation between the bathroom. it works fine. Regular bed and posters and typical decorations. Jumping over here, you'll see that this apartment setup is pretty much the same. Functioning everything, and this person is sleeping, and they apparently like The Art of War by Sun Tzu. Good for them. I tried to do little things that are a little bit different, like different end tables, slightly different lamps, but it's difficult to make everything different when it's trying to be cohesive. Coming over here, out in the middle, you will see that the first building on this side of the settlement is the clinic. I wanted to have a separate building for the clinic. It's also got glass roofing, and as you can see, I went with the smaller station so that I could put more stuff in here. You have a surgery chair, and it's the only thing in here besides 2 med pods, and they are functional. As you can see, they're the Institute ones, and people can come in here and sleep, although I have more beds than settlers. This is where the doctors live. I only have 2 doctors currently because I don't have Vault 88 unlocked, so I don't have access to all of those Vault items. TLDR, spoiler. But yeah, one's decorated a little bit different from the other. I figured they could have differing tastes. One's more plain and strict, and the other one likes comics and stuffed animals. Coming around here, you'll notice that there is elevation changes between all the different housing units. I did that again on purpose, and then I also used the landscaping rocks to kind of hide the foundations. I thought that would look good and make it look slightly more natural, like they just reclaimed the space, even though there's a gigantic wall of rock going around in a semicircle. This one was designed to be more of a visitor center. They come in here. These are short-termers. They got foot lockers and regular lockers and a bathroom with a tub in there, which is mainly to cover the clipping there on the ground. But it's very basic, but it can fit 6 people. I figured this was the visitors' lounge or visitors' residence. Don't know why they're all standing over there. They don't always do that. This is one of the main workers' group areas or group sleeping areas. It's got 3 beds in here, a desk, and as you can see, it's a little bit more decorated than the other one, but still they're all in the same room at the same time. I figured not everybody could have their own apartment in this area. I did put 2 shower stalls though, which is different from my normal builds. And then coming over here, this was actually the first one I ever built. This is the security guard's apartments, and as you can see, I embedded it in the rock by placing rock after I built the houses. This is the first one I built. It's also one of the largest ones for the security officers, but figured that lady in the security office deserved her own place. Up here I have 3 of them. Originally it was only 2, but I added the one in the middle, and you'll see the difference right here. I have to actually jump around that guy, sorry. But this is a much smaller bathroom, but it works fine. I did give him glass ceilings to make up for it. But in here, these have bigger bathrooms. Let's go back outside and take a look at it from a little bit of a wider angle view. You can see that I put a lot of trees in here. I wanted to change the way things looked. Let's go up here. This is an elevator kind of mezzanine that I built from my personal residence. I don't like to use the elevators themselves because people tend to come up when the elevator's down, so I leave it up here at all times. There are 2 elevators because it's 5 stories to get up, or 6, and there wasn't enough elevator. They only have 3 and 4 story elevators in here. But if you look, you'll see how I used wood flooring to kind of hide the underside of the roadway, and we'll be taking a better look at that in a second once we get upstairs. But yeah, I thought that came out really well. And this wood looks better than the repaired barn woods that I was using. It looks a lot more natural. But as you can see, a couple of couches for sitting if I do have guests, and a couple of display cabinets. That was a Jamaica Plains, Grognak, and I believe on this side, yes, the Silver Shroud prop one. And they do have power to them. You can see the lights are on in them. But let's go ahead and go up right now, and we're going to go and check out my personal residence for the Sole Survivor or the Vault Dweller. I believe it's Vault Dweller in number 4. But let's jump back outside real quick using my clipping tool and show you a little bit of a trick that I used in order to create this decking, because it looks like it's just super thick, but in reality the roadway is still here. You can see it here when I clip through the floor, and you can just tell that I deleted everything that I could, and then I worked around the rest. These are the half walls from the barn with the floors on the top and the bottom. Doing that created a box that I was able to put everything in. and still left enough of the original structure so that it looks kind of cool when you're down below it, and it hides all the damage that's on the roadway itself. It was hard to put up all the lights. Well, I got it done. This is the entranceway. I got to put like a shoe rack and stuff, but it does have HVAC, as well as my kitchen being the first thing you see when you enter. It's a little bit sparsely decorated, and I did that on purpose, mainly because there are some graphical clipping that I needed to get around. I went with the modular kitchen again because everything is functional. Back here is where some of the roadway clips through, and to hide it, I put some cabinets, and then I put a bunch of kitchen decorations back there, and I thought it looked really good, especially with the lights, to hide the fact that there's, I believe it's actually a wall that clips through there, and I wanted to hide it, and it worked well. It actually looks pretty natural to me. I haven't figured out what to do with this space yet. I will figure it out because I don't have like a lot of people come up here, so I just have a table with nothing on it. And then over here on this side, sorry for the clipping bush, but over here in this corner, I had to hide some graphical glitching again. Actually, it's the roadway this time that clips through, so I laid down some do-it-yourself shelving and then filled it up with food. I just don't have anything on the bottom shelves, and then it kind of looks like a pantry, and it works well, and it hides the graphical clipping, which was the main goal. When we leave the kitchen, the first thing we come up into is the relaxation area of my personal home, and as you can see, it's very open. It's 1.5 stories tall, and this is the thing I'm most proud of in this one. I thought it looked really awesome when I was done with it. It's a world map with bookcases in front of it, but if you look, you'll see that I lined up the bookcases to coincide with the land masses, and it just looks natural as heck, and I thought it came out really well. And I filled it up with books and decorations, and you can store your liquor in there, and it looks almost like a real house, which was, I guess, the goal. I have a pool table with pool cues and some chairs for sitting on, and over here I put a dartboard and some flooring, so the dartboard is dedicated to this section of floor. Used a couple of mannequins to put an Iron Man armor and the Nuka Girl armor from Nuka World. If you have that DLC, you should definitely do this kind of setup. A couple of posters up on the wall. I was originally making this a workshop and changed my mind. I have to move those signs. But with these vaulted ceilings, I thought it came out well, and I have fans up there to help circulate the air from my air conditioning. The first room we're going to go into is actually the bedroom. And there's a nice bed in here. This is from Creative Clutter. It's already decorated, so I didn't have to go nuts decorating it. But it is a fully functioning bed, which I appreciate. And then I put a TV and a functioning Videos of the Wasteland player down over here. I didn't put it in the reading area because I wanted it away from there. As you can see, you got an end table, a computer, and a dresser over here. This section is my laundry area. Got a clothes rack from Creative Clutter, as well as washer and dryer and some decorations on the window. I just thought that looked cool there. Doesn't actually fit in there, but an ironing board and a hamper really looks good. This area, I have to put stuff in here. I think I'm going to actually make it my exercise area. I'll figure that out. But the bathroom in here, you have a shower, of course, and a tub and sink with decorations from Creative Clutter again. And it came out really nice, and it's fully functional. And I was thinking about removing some blocking walls, maybe. But coming out here, you'll see I used some landscaping out here, which doesn't really work on a highway level, but I made it work. In order to hide the way the middle of the freeway is kind of jutting up through the floors, I used landscaping, bushes, and rocks to hide it all. And yes, that is the largest tree in the game, but I would manage to get it stuck into the ground enough so it doesn't clip through the bottom. Again, this is where the railing comes through and walls that clip, so hiding them was the best option, and it worked fine because it's such a large space. As you can see, there's the railing, that it looks really good when it's all done. The new version of barn walls looks awesome, and the fact that the windows are intact was amazing because now it fits with the other concrete walls that I have. Back here, I'm probably going to put like a barbecue area, but another tree, and again, this is all to hide the roadway as much as possible. And you wouldn't know it was there if I didn't tell you about it. Coming over here, we are now looking into my workshop area, which I'm very proud of. Again, it was kind of a spur-of-the-moment thing. Got a couple of power armor displays with some power armor that I've picked up while playing the game. I think they look good in there, and it's covered and it looks really good, and it's just a nice display area. But coming in here, I'm proud of my workshop. I think it came out well. I have my own dispensary, as well as a weapons workbench and a couple of working surfaces to put stuff, as well as some weapons displays. These are functioning weapons. I've picked them up through the game. That's the broadsider from the Constitution mission, holotape crafting workbench, and a refrigerator full of Nuka-Cola, because of course it is. This Assaultron, for some reason, keeps on spawning with me everywhere I go, so I have it deactivated, but it was kind of in an angry mood when I did it, and I thought it looked awesome, so I put it in here, and it just kind of stands there all the time now. Doesn't seem to follow me anymore. But I put it right next to the armor station. I thought it looked kind of cool. This side has the Overboss armor from Nuka World. Hint, hint, spoiler, sorry. Coming up here, you can see it's a pretty dang nice view, and we have reached the end of the video. So if you like what you saw, give me a thumbs up. Sorry, I'm doing a dub over on this. I've never done that before, so I'll try not to do that too much more often. But look for more videos next week. This is Joe saying until next time, I will, of course, drag it out a little bit longer now. Here we go. Talk to you later.